It's King's Row, so there's always the threat of 6 Hanzos. One can never forget.
No, you know, there was a time, you know, we started talking about 6 Hanzos, and I'm like, all right, you know, that's past, that's over. We only saw it twice, and it only worked twice. And then someone brought it out and took out a Symmetra, and it effectively had a huge impact on the map. So now I can't just get rid of it as a funny, cheesy strat that was hilarious and killed Mercies once or twice. Now it's actually a viable strat that teams have to defend against. Of course, the 6 Hanzo strategy is running 6 Hanzos on offense. At their initial rollout of King's Row, everyone goes to this top point, runs a scatter shot onto the point, and hope that the geometry is in your favor and get some picks. It seems silly, it seems stupid, it has worked in the past.
Yep. So taking a look at the defense as it rolls out for SG-1, we got Mafu on the 76, Zappis on the Symmetra, Hawks on Reinhardt, Himsey on Lucio, Pumpu on the McCree, and Seda on the Junkrat. So SG-1 at least keeping it a little bit more traditional.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen on defense as teams are more hesitant to run the orb composition that we've seen, unless they're forced into it like we saw earlier as well. And then you're running a transition and trying to transition into it to defend against it. It gets really rough, but at least on first point holds, teams have run more traditional defensive compositions.
Uh-oh, here it comes, Hex.
Yeah, we'll see
the
if
Hanzos are out.
I think Hawks knows what's up. He's got his shield up. They should all get behind him and tuck into this corner here.
But you never know. One never knows how the arrows will come out. So, all the Hanzos shooting the scatter shots. We hold our breath. No one is killed, but they went for it anyways.
Yeah, actually, a next level strat on that too is to do it and then have one of the Hanzos hold off a little bit and then shoot one onto the point when they think all is passed.
Well, you know, you could either run a Mei and a Reinhardt on defense, and then you have the Reinhardt shield on one end and Ice Wall on the other, and that would have to, like, make it airtight,
yeah,
right?
little pillow fort of defense.
I don't know, but anyways, we do have the Arcane offense on the way. They are running an offensive Mei, which you don't see too often. I guess we saw a little bit of it from Envious the other day, but curious to see what they get from that. And Olba with the first blood in the game, able to take out Pumpu in a McCree duel.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Arcane now, 2 kills for Arcane as they start moving forward and starting to get SG-1 on the ropes.
Yeah, I don't really love the positioning there on defense, especially for not having a Junkrat to the top left, which we've seen a lot of top teams do. They put that Junkrat up there, so at least he sees things coming.
We got Cruz flanking in a Mafu, but Mafu sees him, actually forces him back a bit. The teleporter for SG-1 is down. It just went up, goes down right away, but SG-1 is reinforcing, gets 3 kills, and they might just be forcing Arcane back after... I almost feel like what happened there is that Arcane was a little bit tentative on going in. They got those 2 picks. I think they could have rushed that down a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think once they got through the stairs, that's exactly where you wanted to be. That was the plan. They were almost like surprised that their plan worked and there was no one else standing in their way. They should have been able to get on the point and get some presence there, but a good defensive recovery at least from SG-1.
Yeah, no, SG-1, they made the most of it. They were able to recover after 2 early picks, which really would do most teams. So, a good play by them, and just gonna see how the next Arcane offense goes. Ruster getting knocked into the air by that concussive vine. Pumpu takes out Sanchez. 2 kills now for the defense. Ruster takes out Pumpu if nothing else, but there comes the res coming out from Miker there. That's gonna res everyone that died on the offense, but Mafu, making sure more people still die, gets the double kill that opened this up, has Tech Visor at the ready, might not need it, kills Reinhardt, and now SG-1 going to hold here again. And Arcane came very, very close to capping the point there, but SG-1 sort of hanging on.
Yeah, what's rough about that, too, is they came close and they used some ults to do it. The Resurrections down, Offensive Blizzard went off before that, too, and didn't really catch anyone, but it's a great zoning ability. Now they're going to try to have to push it into an ultimate advantage.
I mean, it's a little bit of an ultimate. We have, it's still Tech Visor, and Tech Visor we have seen do pretty good work in tournaments at times. It's a little bit variable. Hey, take a look at Mafu. Mafu actually sees the Genji deep in the back, but I think he has a bigger issue with what's going on the point here. I think he's just going to have to go out and pop Tech Visor. We see a defensive Earthshower come down, hits nothing, gets absolutely nullified by the shield of... Ruster, and here we go, we have the Dragon Blade out. Mafu and Pumpu, though, able to get 2 kills. Cruz not going to do a lot with that Dragon Blade. And now, as a result, SG-1 moving forward. Nevic's in trouble. Ruster in trouble. Ruster's going to go down. So...
they're going to get chased out here, and we're going to see some composition changes. Cruz comes off the Genji. He was not super effective on it, and he comes on to Reaper, hoping to get something going here. Ruster does have his ultimate up, so they may be able to chain that. Also, Blizzard and Resurrection up, too, so it's an ultimates to work with here to try to push this point.
Yeah, Ruster, I mean, Earth Shatter is up, Blizzard is up. Those are 2 really good ultimates to have. Mafu's been really tentative about using his tactical visor. I thought maybe he would have used it in the last fight, but he showed that he didn't really need to use it, so good control for him. He still has attack visor up. They didn't lose the point. Here comes Arcane, though. Arcane bring Reinhardt out there, and here comes attack visor from Mafu finally. Gonna gun down the McCree with the aid of Pumpu. That's 1 down, 2 down now for Arcane as they go up there. Miker with the Resurrect, gonna bring people back up. but they're dying just as soon as they're res. Zappos with 2 kills on Metro, I think on the people that are resurrecting. Must have had a good orb or something. And now, again, Arcane getting mowed down here, and this is not quite what they wanted.
No, Cruz is on the Reaper. He's trying to kind of just playing the back lines. They're not really getting in the right positions they need to as the hero Seta comes in with a giant Junkrat jump and takes him out.
Yeah, take on this. One good thing, at least for Arcane, Nevix does still have his Blizzard, and Ruster coming back up with those shine. That being said, here comes their Blizzard right now. It's gonna get Soldier in it. Soldier's gonna get frozen. Mafu in trouble. He's gonna go down. That's 2, 3, 4 kills now for Arcane off the Blizzard of Nevix. And now they only have to stand for a little bit longer, and they will get the payload in motion.
Yeah, really nice Blizzard there. It's probably the most effective Blizzard we've seen the last couple days as Mei comes in and actually grabs 3 kills for that too. Well, it's also there, I mean, you kind of saw the failed first pushes were them being a little bit tentative, especially Cruz too. If the rest of your team is dead as Reaper, why are you just trying to stay alive in the front lines by your Reinhardt? You need to be selling out, maybe get some kills and get some momentum back. You're gonna die anyway, likely.
Yep, so, take a look here, Lucio. On the cart, they do have Sound Barrier up for the offense, and actually Arcane has a lot of room to regain some momentum here. They can drop the Sound Barrier, they can go speed in with Lucio, look for an Earth Shatter, and they even have a res to sort of clean up afterwards, so this isn't the worst case for Arcane to be in right now. They can right now they're making up a ton of time. A lot of their progress here is being uncontested, and if they use their ults properly, they should be able to win this next fight. That being said, Mafu has something to say about that. This is the opening that we were expecting. 4 kills now for Arcane, and even though Mafu is able to get that pick off, it's not able to deal with that. Mafu with a second pick off, so it's 2 down versus 4, but still very much in Arcane's favor.
Yeah, they just took a fight on a different side of the map that Mafu was looking at, and they decided that they were going to bait them in with Cruz. They did. They actually got 3 people in, and then they didn't know the rest of the team was around the corner, and they were able to clean it up.
I'll say this, casters love predicting stuff, but I feel like that was one of the cleanest predictions I've ever... I mean, it actually just went down like that. So Arcane looking good here. They do have a Blizzard coming out here from Nevix. Blizzard being followed up by the Death Blossom. Cruz with 2 kills, and now SG-1 find themselves very much on defensive. That is 5 kills for the Arcane side, and Arcane finding their second wind after a little bit of a troubled start.
Yeah, I like the aggression they're bringing to now. It seems like the tentative nature of their fights is now gone. They're working well as a team, and everyone's kind of selling out and on the same page right now. Cruz is
able to take out Zeta. Yeah, Cruz is keeping the momentum going. He will finally be taken out by Pumpu. Pumpu does have the Deadeye up. We've seen Deadeye do work in this situation. Defensive Sound Barrier is up, but I'm not sure if they were ready to rush him just yet. Sound Barrier effect is going down. Defense is going deep in. They have to be careful not to overextend too much. Ruster, though, goes in. 1 pick by Mafu, 1 pick by Nevix, so both teams down a player here. And actually, it's looking like the Arcane offense just wants to back up a little bit and regroup.
You know what's actually really interesting about Mei that we haven't been able to talk about is, you know, if the other team's running a sniper, Mei can deal with a sniper pretty well now. You know, she's got the long range right click. It's pretty well. It's very accurate, able to headshot.
Yeah. So, we do have the Blizzard coming out from Nevix. Nevix really not getting anyone in this, but zoning people out. Mafu able to tag the biker in the back, and Pumpu and Seda coming in. The barrage from Seda doing a lot of work, and that's going to be 3 people down, 4 people down for Arcane. Nevix, one of the last ones standing, and he is going to die in the end as well.
Yeah, they kind of decided to ignore the high ground there. They weren't trying to deal with Mafu before they push in. They just decided, well, a sniper up there is not going to stop our push. They neglected to take note of Seda up above them, though, and a barrage unaccounted for. It's a troubling barrage, to say the least.
Yeah, just a bit troubling, a little bit of trouble for there in general. So, we're going to see now Arcane coming back in. Mafu is able to take out Nevix, so... Here comes the Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter will get 1 knockdown. Reinhardt gets a kill on Himsy. Here comes Arcane again. Obla with the kill. Pumpu, though, and Hawks bringing this back to 3 kills now for SG-1. And the Resurrect, though, comes up from Micro. Again, res a lot of those fallen heroes. Olba with 2 kills of his own, and Arcane making this work off that well-timed res of Micro.
Yeah, it was a really good res. I was actually kind of wondering why they were making some of the plays they were, but clearly on comms, they were selling out. They were making more aggressive plays than they had to, just because they knew they had the res up. They had the faith in Micro to bring them back to life. They finished the map. Solid time, some decent play. I think they got better as the map went on, for sure.
Does Farrah have a mouth guard in that skin?
I don't know. I have that skin.
I just like her mouth was yellow for like really. I've never actually seen the Farrah play the game though. Since wait a second. Sporty Farrah, that's also a transformer.
Yeah, I mean, I got this skin in and drop, and like I love Farrah. She's my favorite hero, but I wear it just because I got it, but I don't love it. It's weird. She loses soul with it. You know, she's becoming part robot. She's not as warm as I remember
Oh,
her.
and here comes the robot racism again out of Hex. I mean, this is a lot. You don't like Zenyatta, you don't like Genji.
Yeah, but
when
I also
starts
hate-
looking like a robot, you start hating on Pharah. I mean, you would fit right in with the lore of the terrorists in Overwatch that are trying to blow up every single robot. I mean, just let your true feelings be known here, Hex.
One man's terrorist and another man's freedom fighter. It's all about perception. But I also hate Tracer too, so perhaps I'm just a curmudgeon.
You know, curmudgeon's ass could be.
Did you check official time? I was too busy.
I did. The time was 7:42.
You know, I was just being blinded by.
So
the
it's
insults.
it's not a terrible time for Arcane. It's definitely beatable by SG-1. But on some level, I feel like it's a little bit heartbreaking for SG-1 because they came close to having their .1 defense, and then they weren't able to hold on .1, and then they really sort of ended up giving up the streets phase for free. I mean, they did try and defend it, but you had a great combination of ultimates come out for Arcane that sort of nipped that in the bud very, very quickly.
Yeah, you know, it's something we've actually just seen as a trend on this map between Beta 1 and Beta 2. This map used to be all about the street fight. Like, you know, when we had Zarya and Pharah firmly in the meta, we just saw Graviton surges and barrages constantly. As the compositions have changed, it's mostly this point 1, and then teams want to fight around where point 2 begins, and then towards the end they'll fight everywhere. But the streets phase has been less active in the second phase of Beta for sure.
So, we are moving into the second round of King's Row. It's now going to be SG-1's turn to attack. Taking a look at the defense as it comes out here. For Arcane, we're going to have Cruz on the Reaper, Olba on the McCree, Micah on the Symmetra, Ruster on the Reinhardt, Nevix still repping the Mei on both offense and defense, and Sanchez rounding things out in the Lucio.
Yeah, an interesting composition. I don't think we're going to see double orb out of either of these teams. I think it's a composition that a lot of teams don't love to run. And if they don't have to and they're not forced onto it in some aspect, then they won't. So we see the offense is going to come out with Mafu was on Widowmaker, is now on Reaper. Hawks will play Reinhardt, Himsey on Lucio. Seta will be running the Cyborg Pharah, and Zappis will be playing Zenyatta, and Pumpu, of course, on McCree.
Yep, so we're going to take a look at Cruz here as he starts things out. We've seen the flanking Reaper, of course, do so much work on this map over time, and we're just going to see what Cruz brings to the table here. As he's looking, he is unseen. He definitely has the other team in his sights, and now might be able to drop down, but deciding, you know, he's going to go a little bit further back.
He got a little scared out, though. I think he thought Seta was coming for him, but she was absolutely not, so they go in different phases.
We'll take a look at defense here. Arcane with 2, now 3 kills, as really, you see the SG-1 team just getting jumped in the hotel. They got flanked on both sides. I don't think that was quite what they wanted when they went through here, and now, really, there's a Pharah in the back who's the last one remaining. I think she's going to try and stay alive. That's Seda, and Seda actually really under a bit of pressure back here.
I really like what Seta's doing, though, here, too.
But yeah, I was going to say, look at this here, because she's drawing all those people back, and now look at the rest of the SG-1 offense. They're coming in, and now, arguably, the defense is a little bit out of position now, because Seda was delaying for that long.
Go back there. She's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her in the window, and I was like, I hope that she doesn't just try to spam out and do something aggressive here, because I think her value in the back lines, at least as a distraction, is going to be hugely possible.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, you know, it's one of those things where if you look at, say, football, where the quarterback gets chased and then finally doesn't get sacked and goes for a long pass, almost seemed like that, because this is inadvertently worked out not terribly for SG-1. We do have Nevix, though, doing a little bit of hero work. Got 2 kills, working on a 3rd in the middle here, but it was still not the worst look for SG-1 as they went in here. They almost have a 3rd, and now the momentum is in their favor at the moment.
Yeah, Seda still didn't die throughout all of that. A distraction, stayed alive, got picks in the backline, got her ultimate charged up, was able to zone out with that ultimate there. Just phenomenal play.
Yeah, I just think this is one of those things where it's totally unplanned, but the improvisation sort of screwed up the game plan of Arcane. As a result, SG-1's going to put a pretty good time for capping the first point.
Yeah, and Zappis cleans up his Zenyatta, too. It seems like the Cyborg is strong right now.
Indeed. So, interesting turnarounds in general, but hey, SG-1 making it work.
I just think it was really smart, because there was a moment you saw her above the team. The whole plan to push in had failed. She was the only one alive, and I saw her kind of looking to maybe get some rockets down. The entire team was looking at her. Then they sent a Reaper up, and I think it was really smart to be like, you know what? I'm out of here. She got to the back lines, was flying through the air, making it very difficult for them. Never died through it, got picks in the back lines. Really cool play.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we see here, we see SG-1 moving through the streets. They're definitely on pace to beat the time here. The timer froze, but we know it's 7:42, and they are making decent time at the moment.
Yeah, now we see a
But
fight.
that being said, look at that defense
Blizzard.
there coming out from Arcane. Oba and Cruz, Death Blossom out, McCree out, and they are going to wipe out Arcane in the streets.
I like how the caster curse applies to maps too. When I talk about we don't really see fights in the streets much anymore. We see an enormous brawl. The Blizzard comes down and there's kind of a full reset on the game mode right now.
So here comes SG-1 yet again on the attack. I mean, honestly, that doesn't feel good. They definitely are ahead on time just because of how quickly they grab the first point. They don't want to get stuck in the streets for too long. But look at the ult situation here. Mafu has Death Blossom. Hawks has Earth Shatter, so they can really make the most of this if they're careful. Certainly, if multiple get knocked down by an Earth Shatter, a Death Blossom is a great cleanup for that. And here we go. The fight is being engaged. Mafu takes out Ruster. Sanchez takes out Pumpu. Both teams down a player. Both teams down 2 players now, as they're sort of both teams struggling for positioning here. Down 3 players, so very much coming down to the last person both teams, but Mafu and Zappis able to clean it up in the end. They're going to roll to this point. And Hex, now we have a situation in where really Arcane has to defend for quite a while here.
Yeah, at times it's going to be tough to beat. That last fight, they just got split up on defense. They had 2 people on the right, they had 4 on the left.
Take a look at Seda here. Seda is really far up, keeping pressure on the Arcane side of things and letting SG-1 just move up at will.
Yeah, what he really wants to do is not get spotted up there and hopefully get forgotten about so he can drop down.
Okay, that being said, take a look at Arcane. Arcane is speed boosting in. They want to wipe out SG-1 here, but look at the flank from SG-1. Mafu and Seda are in the back. They're flanking the people as they rush in. And this is 4 kills now for SG-1. And SG-1 now very threatening to potentially win the game. Nice rockets from Seda. And look at this. They are moving forward, Hex. And now this is panic time for Arcane because they are very much on the verge of losing this map.
Yeah, Seda playing really well. The High Noon is going to come in actually just to zone out on top of the cart. They get behind the shield, but that's pulling them off the cart.
And he kills the McCree with the Deadeye. So that's 1 down right for the defense. They have a Widow here, but the Widow's out of position. Not able to get the good snipe she wants to just get in Nevix. And now as Pumpu and Zappis gain kills each, and this is almost certainly going to be GG for SG-1. And there it is, Hex. A great offense from them. They're going to take map 1 with a very, very fast. I think the time was only about, what, maybe 4 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a win. I mean, Seda just played out of their mind there. That was insane. We've seen Farah's carry the last couple days. I'm glad to see it happening, but definitely a good performance there. Like you said, an improv performance on the early point, but later on hitting direct rockets on Lucio was very, very important because you can't kill Lucio with splash damage. He just sustains through it. So getting those kills to knock out their support later on too. Seda with a great play that round.
That's pretty close. I said 4.5 minutes, 4:41, so about that time, but certainly a much faster time for SG-1. So they are going to take map number 1.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be closer than that. SG-1 looked really good, and I think a lot of that was because just that they just kind of fell apart when that game plan went weird, and just the improv skills of the Pharah in the backlines. You know, even if she would have died in the backlines, I think it was the smart move to pull them back. A lot of times in Overwatch, you don't have to get kills to be effective. This game doesn't. You don't win games by getting the most kills on your team. You win games by winning objectives. So just pulling them out of position was great.
Although I will note, oftentimes the team that gets most kills is highly correlated with the team that wins.
Yes.
So that
fair enough.
It's one of those philosophies where, you know, sometimes you'll say, listen, man, it's not kills, it's the objective. It's like, yes and no. I mean, usually if you're killing the entire team, you're probably helping your team win. So it's not a direct 1-to-1, of course, in other situations, but.
Right, but I mean, specifically, though, when you're talking about heroes who get in the back lines, though, 'cause I would rather have a Tracer get 1 kill and stay alive for 2 minutes in the back line than get 2 kills and die immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just sort of one of those things where I think the Arcane in that last game got a little bit too hung up on chasing Seda, because what happened is that, yes, they put pressure on Seda, but they weren't able to kill him, A, and B, they were out of position as SG-1 rolled in. So usually a team that's rolling in has a bit of a problem because they have to go through, of course, the spam, the teams that are set up and everything else, but their position was totally ruined there. And that just, you know, really, you look at, if they were to hold on point A for a little bit longer, it would have made the time a lot closer between the two sides.
Right. I mean, those backline decisions are really, really hard to make, because do you send 2 people back there? If you send 1, they could just die back there, then you still have the problem. It's a really tough thing to balance and how teams are able to do. Do you ignore it and then forget about it and end up getting barraged on later? I mean, depending on the hero that is in your backline, what is your response to it? That's why it becomes such a thing to really test a team's coordination and mettle of how are they going to deal with it when things are going weird for them.